Hi everybody, I'm Karen Hartglass with Responsible Eating and Living. Today I'm going to be making vegan almond biscotti and it's gluten-free. I love this recipe. The first time I ever made a vegan almond biscotti was for my sister. She loves this kind of cookie and there was a store that she used to buy it from where she lives in Florida, and then one day they stopped selling it. And she was really disappointed and couldn't find a vegan biscotti anywhere, not even online. So I thought, all right, I'll make it for you. And I found a great recipe by Brianna Clark Grogan from her Noni's Kitchen Cookbook to make this vegan almond biscotti. It's delicious. But this particular recipe is made with wheat flour, and that's fine if you don't have a problem with wheat. I find that I get a little headache if I have too much wheat, and I know too many people today have celiac disease or intolerances to wheat. So I came up with a gluten-free recipe and I think I like it even better. And that's what we're going to be making today. Actually, I'm making this recipe because it's my sister's birthday coming up and I'm going to send some of these to her. So let's get started. This is a really easy recipe and it's fun to make. I just want to go over the simple ingredients that I use. I use brown rice flour and oat flour. Now we eat a lot of oatmeal in this house, so we always have rolled oats. And I personally prefer to make my oat flour by grinding rolled oats in a coffee bean grinder. It's very simple and I find it gives the cookies a fresher flavor. And I do the same thing with almonds. This recipe calls for ground almonds, and what I like to do is use organic raw almonds. And what I do is I grind them again in my coffee bean grinder to a fine meal. You can buy almond meal in the store, but keep this in mind. Almonds, nuts, all seeds, they can go rancid and taste stale. And as soon as I buy my nuts and seeds, I put them in the freezer or the refrigerator to keep them fresh until I'm ready to use them. And I don't chop them up or grind them until I'm ready to use them, because as soon as you start to grind and chop them, they're going to start to disintegrate and the flavor won't be as good and they won't be as good for you. So I like to grind the almonds myself. It takes a little more time, but the flavor is so worth it. All right. I've also got baking powder, some evaporated cane juice, and for those of you who aren't familiar with evaporated cane juice, this is a simpler version of sugar, and it's vegan and organic. Now for a binder, I'm using applesauce in this recipe. I have a lot of fun with recipes and I always like to change them up a little bit. This recipe originated with applesauce, but one day when I was out of applesauce, I didn't know what to use, and then decided to use mashed bananas. There are so many different things in the plant world where you can substitute one for the other, and very often I come up with an even better recipe. There's a little olive oil in this recipe along with almond and vanilla extracts. Let's mix it all up. I've got the brown rice flour and the oat flour and some baking powder, and I just want to whisk them together so that they're well mixed, just like that. Okay, that's good. And now I'm going to put the sugar in a smaller bowl and mix in the liquid ingredients. So we've got the applesauce, the olive oil. Now I'm using 3 tablespoons of olive oil. If you like a really hard biscotti, the kind that'll break your teeth, you know, some people like those, you can use less olive oil. Or if you like a hard cookie that you might put in your tea or coffee and want it to hold up, you might use less oil. I find that this amount of oil will give me just the right texture that I like in a biscotti. Okay, so we're mixing all of this up together. For those of you that are used to making a cookie where you cream the sugar with butter, it's kind of similar. I'm creaming the sugar with the applesauce and the other flavors. And then this goes directly into the flour. Now I'll add in the almonds. I like to knead this into a moist dough. So I'm going to grab about half of the dough and just make a nice log right here on the parchment paper. Press it down to about a 1/2 inch thick, maybe 3 inches wide. And we're going to cook the log just like this for 25 minutes. And when it's done, we'll slice it into the cookie shapes. Now normally this recipe can make 2 of these logs, but I'm gonna do something fun because Halloween is coming up. And I like to use this recipe to make finger cookies, scary little finger cookies. It's a great recipe to do that, so I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, I've taken the biscotti out of the oven and I've let them cool for about 15 minutes. It's really important to let them cool. Now, the finger cookies, they're a lot smaller than the log of biscotti and they are done. So I'm going to remove them. Just put them over here with the other ones. Don't they look creepy? Now the log, I'm going to carefully remove it and place it on a cutting board. And then I'm going to cut the log into little slices. Now you're probably understanding how this becomes biscotti. Okay, now biscotti are twice-baked cookies, and what we're going to do is take these little pieces and cook them for a few minutes on each side. Here they are, vegan almond biscotti that are gluten-free. And one thing I didn't tell you, you can make a big batch of these cookies and put them in the freezer so that they're ready whenever you want them. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send a big batch to my sister for her birthday, and she'll put them in the freezer so she can have them whenever she wants. Thanks for joining me. Bye.
Where's Fester? Where's Wednesday? Where's Pugsley? Where's Lurch?
They should be here soon.
Are they out trick-or-treating?
I don't know.
I hear Wednesday went vegan. Is that why we're having all this vegan food?
Yes, darling. I've worked very hard. I've found a lot of wonderful recipes at Responsible Eating and Living.
Responsible Eating and Living, I love that place.
Yes.
Thank you, Responsible Eating and Living, for all of these wonderful recipes. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah!